All right, it's time for another mail call video. It's actually been quite some time since I've done one of these, but mail kind of slowed down over the holidays, and I didn't get enough of it to really make a video until now, even though some of this was actually mailed in December and it's just been waiting to be opened. So, yeah, but I'm still just floored with how awesome and generous you guys are. Just thank you so much already. Before we start taking a look at mail, though, I figured I'd show off I finally built a stand for the globe. It's just the original stand the globe came on and a piece of all thread run through there. That was not easy to do. Anyway, I also have some new magnets. They're a lot smaller and they fit on the heads of the pins much better. I've already moved all the old magnets off and replaced them with the new smaller ones. So this is getting a lot better now. This first package comes from Daniel in Waterview, Virginia. While I'm here, you can also see the new magnets on there. They're much smaller. And just a note for these more geographically dense places, I've decided I'm going to start rounding to capitals because it's just too crowded. I can't fit these like I would really need to. So yeah, just a heads up. And two more things, a heads up about this package. One, it's already been opened and that's why it's not sitting flat. And two, it's not what you think when you see this open. So, this is a GTX 1080 Ti, and I was not just sent this. I actually bought this from Daniel because it turns out a big, mean 4K camera needs a big, mean computer to be able to edit the footage. So I bought this from Daniel for a pretty good deal. I'm very happy with the purchase. You wouldn't be able to watch these videos like this now if I didn't have this. So I'm very thankful Daniel's able to help me out with that. But he also included some other goodies. Alright, so what's inside this bag was not part of the purchase. This was just something he was able to send in and because he liked my videos. So first, let's take a look at this. Yeah, I know, this seems pretty cool. We'll get to that in a moment, don't worry. But in here, we have some CPUs. A 46DX2, an AMD, 586, I think. I'm not the biggest buff on older CPUs, so this is going to really help me out with learning some of this stuff. Having them on hand is an incentive to learn more about them. A Pentium, or is this a Celeron? Yeah, this is a Pentium 3, 1 gigahertz. This is, I believe, a copper mine, if I remember correctly, but we'll talk about that more in a bit. And this one is a 1.2 gigahertz Pentium 3, and I'm pretty sure this one is a Tualatin core. And, yeah, these CPUs are going to be very nice for me. I'm working on a DOS build right now still that's actually hopefully going to be coming together fairly soon here. And these are going to give me some more options to choose from. I probably already have something that I'm going to go with that's not either one of these, but this just gives me more stuff to try out and play with here. And these two are probably going to be going into the new Windows 98 machine at some point. I've heard there are some incompatibilities with the 133 megahertz front side bus of the Tualatin cores. So the 1 gigahertz copper mine here has a 100 megahertz front side bus. So that could open up some possibilities if I do run into issues. And this is actually a faster processor than what I put in the new Windows 98 machine, and is Tualatin core. So this is an upgrade. There is a faster core than this still. There is a 1.4 gigahertz Tualatin, but it's, yeah, I'm not really on the hunt. The computer's kind of already fast enough, so it's not a big quest, but yeah, but it's not like speed upgrades are a bad thing, so yeah, that's gonna be nice. Alright, and what was the other thing? A Voodoo 2. Yes, this is a Voodoo 2, and it's blue, which I believe means it is a special class of card, like server or industrial use, so that's pretty cool. But what's also significant about this is that I now have one of every major Voodoo revision. A 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So even this card is cool on its own, but it's really cool that it now completes a set for me. A huge thank you to Daniel for sending these in. The next package comes from David in Poughkeepsie, New York, for his 3rd time. All right, this is a USB Wi-Fi dongle. So why would this be sent to me? Well, it comes back to the camera. Now, the camera has a Bluetooth interface, but there really aren't any applications for phones available for this, and I don't really like using a phone for things when I don't have to. And I wanted to be able to remotely start and stop recording on this because the camera is kind of far. It's like 2 feet behind my shoulder, so it's a pain. I gotta reach around and start recording, and it's annoying. It'd be really cool if I could have a dedicated little hardware device that just controls everything on the camera, ISO, shutter, aperture, all that stuff, and I could make one myself because Blackmagic released a Bluetooth API for developing your own applications to control the camera. There's some other cool stuff too, like you can get timecode off of Bluetooth. If you're into audio video production, you'll know what timecode is. So there's some cool stuff going on with the Bluetooth interface on here. So I was trying to develop something like that with a Raspberry Pi, but was running into issues with the Wi-Fi interfering with Bluetooth because both 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are 2.4 gigahertz. So the 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi adapter is just to allow me to develop over Wi-Fi on the Raspberry Pi. I could have used a Ethernet connection and disabled the Wi-Fi dongle, but this is just going to be an easier option, especially once I have the final device done. I can just incorporate a little USB port hidden somewhere in it, because it'd be really nice if it could run off battery, so it can just be set anywhere. Like if I'm doing a piece to camera and the camera's 10 feet away from me, it'd be really nice to be able to just hit record and have it wirelessly transmitted. So thank you, David, for sending this in. When I get around to getting back to that project, it's going to make my life a lot easier. The next package comes from someone who wished to remain anonymous, and they did give me a location to put a pin on, but I'm actually going to change my mind on how the globe is handled. If someone doesn't want to have a name or a username in these videos, I think it's just better off to not have a location then, because it creates this air of mystery. So I'm going to not have just location pins anymore. I'm sorry about that. I just think everyone will be better off overall like that. This is some kind of mystery terminal keyboard I was sent. So the only interface it has is this D-sub, 25 connector on the back. And yeah, not a lot else. No labels. There might have been one, but it's gone now. It feels pretty good. There isn't a positive actuation point. The switches just kind of stop. I got one of these now, so let's see what the switch mechanism is. All right, so let's try pulling off one of these TRS-80 styled split arrow keys, and see, there was a spring in there. It just popped out. Okay, so Keytronic 77 Spokane. Now I did pull off another one of these, and it wasn't 77. You can kind of see right in there. I think that one says 66 or 68. I've pulled one off that said 65, so I don't know what the 7 or the number there means. But yeah, I don't know what these switches are. Based on that split down there, though, I'm not super thrilled. Uh-oh. Is it? No, please don't be one of those. Please don't be. Hold on, let me find a pair of tweezers. Okay, that doesn't push down at all. I was afraid it was going to be one of those stupid split contact type keys like are on the HP, but no, it's looking like this is probably a foam and foil key. So the keyboard isn't very likely to work then. It's not like I can test it at all right now. I'm going to have to crack it open and see what the interface is first. Alright, I've had a bit of a look around on here and talked with someone who's familiar with different strange keyboards, so I have a fairly good idea of how this looks from a protocol perspective, but let's just take a look at some things that we have going on here and make some inferences based on what we can see first. So I'm pretty sure that this board, which is obviously made by Keytronic, is just going to be some kind of general board that would be put into any system. So this is actually connected with a header back here to the protocol board. That's what this would be. So this is going to be designed by the system manufacturer to be able to interface with the generic board. So if they're going to have a proprietary interface, they would need something like this. Now, we can see here that we have 9 cables going over to the connector. So while it's a really big socket with a lot of pins, we're only using 9 of them. Now, 2 of these can be ruled out as power, which means we have 7 data pins. So it's not parallel. There is not an 8-bit parallel signal being sent. Which means we can make an assumption that this is some kind of serial adapter, and if you look it up, it is a UART. Now, we've got some more stuff on here. We have obviously a speaker connection, a transistor, which would act as an amplifier, and a resistor, which would probably be tied to some kind of power for signaling, although we can see the resistor, it goes over to this pin, so there would probably have been another pin on the connector over here that would be used for driving the speaker. So if we want to add a speaker, we could probably put in a transistor and a resistor and send a signal over this pin to activate the speaker. There's a good chance that the speaker can also be activated by the controller, maybe not this, maybe just this, and it will beep on every key press. So, to sum it up, this is a serial keyboard based on the number of pins and this chip, and I don't see any reason that this couldn't be reverse engineered to work. Now, using this board is going to be much easier. As long as this UART isn't doing anything strange and you can receive keystrokes off of there, this shouldn't be a problem. It'll be easy to find power. 2 of these will just go to pins on this. That looks like a standard 74 series logic. I didn't actually look at what the part number is on there. It is indeed. So that will be easy to look up the datasheet for to figure out power. There doesn't seem to be any voltage regulation. There's a transistor right here, so there could be possibly cutting down some power there. It's not going to be a big deal. The board itself has a lot of integrated circuits on there, so interfacing with this probably not going to be as easy, so using this would be the much better option. Now, there's a lot of space in here, and I mean just oodles and oodles of space. Look at all that space. So it might be really fun one day to take some time, get a Teensy or an Adafruit Feather. No, what do they have? It's a Blue Smurf. I have it. It's a Bluetooth keyboard interface. So yeah, I think I'm going to make this a Bluetooth keyboard. I have a pretty strong idea of how it works. I don't have to apply power and scope it. I'm pretty confident that I could figure this out. So yeah, that is going to be really cool. One day we'll go ahead and do that. But for now, a huge thank you for sending this in. This is going to be a lot of fun, just in general, for a description of this thing, though, because I didn't really talk about it. This is all metal. The keys, they're foam and foil, so they don't have a actuation that you can feel, like I said, but they don't feel bad by any stretch of the meaning. The numpad is awesome because it's hex and also binary. This is slightly misaligned, so man, that means you'd have to remove all of these, or maybe just these, and shift it a little bit, yeah, that way, this way, to realign that. But yeah, that's gonna happen another day. For now, this thing's really awesome, and thank you for sending it in. Oh yeah, one more thing before we move on. What year is it? This looks like a 1987 part right there, and this looks like a 1986 part, so it's looking like This is 1987, which is exactly in line with Desk Authority's information on these types of foam and foil Keytronic key switches. So definitely mid to late 80s keyboard. This next package comes from Kada in Orange County, California, and I'm going to put a second magnet on here because Kada was actually the one who sent the HP Z820 in the last mail video. A huge thank you for that. It's been monumentally helpful. Paired with that 1080 Ti at the beginning of this video, it's been a video editing monster. Okay, these are server parts for the Supermicro build I just did. This is a power supply that's going to be beyond perfect for that system. And importantly, in addition to the ATX 12 volts, it has EPS 12 volts. That's the big deal right there. So this is going to be 100% perfect. And this box, I don't know if what's on there is actually correct, or is at least everything. Because in here, there is okay, so that is the RAID card, but also, I do believe that's enough cables for me to do everything I need with all 16 bays on the server, plus the other SSDs I'm kind of hiding in different places. So I think I'm going to have everything I need with the addition of the next mail I'm going to open. But yeah, this is going to be really awesome. Oh, yeah. This... Yes. Okay, actually, I don't 100% remember this. I don't think that we discussed the floppy drive either. But the floppy drives were included with the HP Z820, so this is sort of a continuation of that. I don't remember the FireWire card. Huh. I could probably find some uses for this. I had just seen a FireWire 8-channel audio recorder, and I was thinking about getting it. It was, but I didn't. Now I'm kind of wishing I did. It doesn't matter. I'm saving up to buy a Zoom F4 or F8 so I can get just lots of audio recorded. But yeah, this is awesome. Let's take a look at the power supply. This is going to be really, really nice for the server. Oh man, I don't know if there's any warranty information I have to blur out there. I don't think so. Oh, server, power supplies, heavy. Whoa. It's top heavy, apparently. Yep, it's a power supply. Yeah, these aren't new. These are used, decommissioned parts. Oh my god. This is super heavy. Whoa. Oh, man. I'm gonna get a scale and weigh this sucker. Ugh. Okay, I had to make it a little bit wider with the cables because they kept falling off, but that is a 5-pound power supply. That is beefy. I really look forward to getting this and the RAID card in there, because I'm now ready to do the next phase of the server build and get the editing SSD array set up. Oh, that's going to be nice. I still have to get the 10 gig network connection going. I got to buy the coolers for that. It's just got a lot of other expenses for stuff right now, like camera parts and stuff for LTX. So yeah, trying to allocate resources where it makes the most sense. Because, oh yeah, I haven't said that in a video, but I'm going to be at LTX 2019. From what I heard, if you want tickets, you should probably buy them right now. The next package comes from Gartrol in Lakewood, Ohio. This absolutely barely fits, so it's going to be really easy to get out of here. But this is another RAID card for the server, and with this and the Adaptec, I now have enough SATA ports to fully utilize all 16 bays, plus all the drives I'm going to be sticking in there. So a huge thank you to Gartrol for sending one of these. because it's seriously, it's ready now to move on to the next stage in its life. It's going to be a long time before I even come close to populating all the drives in that. Mostly I'm just going to be stuffing random hard drives I have just laying around right now. And I'm still using the HP ML10 Gen 9, I believe that's the full model name, as my main data server, and that's working tremendously. It's just, this is future proofing. So, oh yeah, this is awesome. Thank you. I double-checked the box. There was a note, Jar Trawl, my apologies. But again, huge thank you. And yes, thank you for the work you put into getting this thing going. I don't remember exactly why it didn't suit your needs, but yeah, I'm definitely going to be able to use it for my usage. It's going to work out very, very well for me. Thank you. The next package comes from Richard in Chaska, Minnesota, which is a balmy 19 degrees Fahrenheit right now. I look up the locations of everywhere on Google Maps first, and it just happened to say that. Oh man, that's cold. This is a Texas Instruments SR10 version 1 from 1972. This thing is awesome. The batteries are a nickel cadmium rechargeable battery. That's why they were included, because it takes a special battery. Oh, this thing is so cool. It's just oozing cool. SR in the SR10, what does that stand for? Slide rule. This thing, it's super cool. Now, unfortunately, this was sent in because it has a possibly unrepairable issue, but I'm going to investigate. All I'm going to have to do here to demonstrate it is type 2, and it's difficult to see, but the middle element there isn't lighting up, and if I just fill this in with 8 so we can see there's at least one more right there, that's not working, and I can just finish that off. We can validate the last digit there. Now, these early bubble LEDs are not the most reliable thing, so it's possible that the elements have burnt out in here, but it could also be the driver chips on this that could be bad. But we're going to investigate this by looking at taking out the board here and see if we can see where the problem is right off the bat. Well, I was hoping to look at the elements directly, but you see these, well, straps? I don't know what the best thing to call them. They're not quite pins soldered in there, and you see how this board is slotted in that groove? Well, I am pretty confident that the little LED board here is installed after the main board by soldering this in, because look at the flux residue on there. So in order to remove this, to look at the elements directly, we would have to desolder all of those, which I really don't want to do right now. So we're just going to have to try to look through the front red element there. So let me reposition to attempt that. Unfortunately, that's as good as I can get the shot through that front element. That red clear plastic is really optically poor, so yeah, we're not going to be able to get any good shots of it through there. I'm going to have to desolder those pins from the display board to be able to really inspect it, and yeah, that's beyond the scope of the mail video, so we will have to get back to this calculator later. Well, at least repair it later. The calculator does still work, so we can do 8 to the power of 2, and we get 64. So the calculator itself does work. Now, the SR10 here does not get the distinction of being Texas Instruments' first portable calculator by a few months. The data math was actually the first one, and this shares almost everything with the data math. This just gets the distinction of being Texas Instruments' first scientific calculator. So there is something there. But, oh man, 1972 portable calculator? Ooh, this thing's awesome. It's wonderful. Oh man. It does seem to be in desperate need for, that weird, what's that word? Retrobrite. Oh yeah. I might be getting into that kind of soon. But yeah. Oh man, this thing. I like this. I don't know if you can tell. Yeah. This is very much me. A huge thank you to Richard for sending this in. I'm going to be drooling over this for a while. This next package comes from Mattis in Tallinn, Estonia. This is another official CD copy of Ubuntu for my growing collection. I didn't know it wasn't going to be in the original sleeve. At least I don't believe this is the original one. I can find other images online, but oh, I'm so going to let that slide because that is the coolest CD case I've ever seen in my entire life. This is awesome. How did I not know about these before? Oh, it doesn't go in very easily. Wow. But yeah, that's the coolest thing ever. Yeah. a huge thank you for sending this in, and the postcard. That's the first postcard I've ever got. You're welcome for the videos. But yes, thank you, Mattis, for sending that in. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Probably not. There's a lot of different cultural pronunciations of things, but a huge thank you for sending that. Small correction, Ubuntu. I know it's called Ubuntu. I've been calling it Ubuntu for so long. It's a very, very hard thing to break for me. So, yes, I know. I before the last take, I told myself, call it Ubuntu. And then I went and called it Ubuntu. So, I'm going to try and do it more. I'm bad at it. Keeping on with the Linux releases, this next package is from Michael in Herndon, Virginia. This one's a bit tricky to place a pin for because Herndon is like Arlington, and it's right along the border of Washington, D.C., and I would have to round it to Washington, D.C. if I was going to put a pin in that area, so I'm going to round it to that New York, it's just pulling the magnets in there. I'm going to round it to Richmond. Get on there. There we go. And that way, at least it's in Virginia. I can't really accurately portray where it is. Again, the geographic density of that region is crazy, so yeah, at this scale, because, thumb, yeah, it's really hard to represent. So eventually I'll get a bigger globe, and then I can go back through these videos and re-listen to where I said each place is from and redistribute everything. This is a boxed copy of Red Hat 7.2 from 2001 and Solaris 10 from November 2006. I believe that is the second release after ZFS was added, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, these are awesome, adding to my Linux distribution collection, mostly big box. So yes, thank you, Michael, for sending these in. These are really cool to get. All right, the last package is from Tomatolicious in Hammer, Germany for the second time. All right, I'm running low on recording space here, so I skipped the unpacking each individual thing, and I'm going to split this part now into two separate categories. So these two are things that I actually bought that Tomatolicious helped me ship back to the United States. I think you guys are going to know what that is. A Roland SC55. It does work. It's missing a knob, but there we go. And this is Pandemonium. Now, this is kind of a really weird and obscure game in the United States, but I played this a lot, so it's really cool to me to get a big box because you cannot get this in the United States. And this one, oh, it's in immaculate condition. I really like this game. It's super weird, but yeah, it's cool. Now, everything else here was included because why waste the shipping? So these are all going to be very different things. All right, let's take a look at the note for this. Hi, Shelby. Here is most of the stuff we talked about and then some. I was going to include a vinyl record of terrible royalty-free music, but the box dimensions did not agree. Maybe next time. That was going to be cool, but that's totally fine. Due to the size of the box and the sheer amount of stuff included in the shipment, I had to pack some stuff inside the big boxes. Make sure you open the Quake and Half-Life add-ons as they include additional items. I definitely grabbed those. The MP Lab PM3 is a very expensive programmer that can program a huge amount of devices and chips. Like most things in this package, I pulled it out of scrap, and it does not work properly. It does power up and passes the self-test, but then freezes. If you can make it work, maybe you'll get yourself a bargain. So yeah, this is something I'm going to be looking at in the future. For right now, I have no idea what the problem is. I will open it later on, but yeah, for now, it does not work. The 8-bit ISA cards are a wild mix of CGA and EGA cards in various states of decay. Between the bunch of them, you can probably make something work with your IBM. So yeah, I didn't have any CGA or EGA cards, especially in this form factor. I have the one CGA card. I did actually find a CGA, EGA, Hercules, etc. card while this package was in the mail, I think. So that was kind of funny, but yeah, it's really nice to have a stable of some of this stuff now. Which brings us to sound cards. I had already clued you in about the sound cards. The Sound Blaster will refuse to post in most machines. Maybe you can make it work. Unfortunately, I had already salvaged the slot cover for another card before. If you can make it work, maybe you can 3D print a replacement? The other sound card is good. Non-PNP clone that lets you jumper IRQ and DMA, and should work for your required setup. It contains a genuine Yamaha OPL3 and probably has lower noise levels than the genuine creative products of the time. Yeah, the Sound Blaster 2, I've looked it over. It's got a lot of problems. That's going to have to be its own full video with lots of in-depth analysis. So, yeah. The PCI cards are period-appropriate cards for your 486 build that should blow most ISA cards out of the water. So yeah, this is, again, my upcoming DOS PC build. I didn't have really any PCI 2D cards, so yeah, that's a huge help. There are also two MFM controllers along with the proper cabling, which you can use to attempt to resurrect the included MFM drives. I was going to include another much bigger drive, but the international shipping limits made it a challenge enough as is. So yeah, I want to have a bunch of examples of parts for LTX, and two MFM drives are really going to be great for that. So these are currently non-working drives. I'm going to see if I can get them to work, but even if not, I'm planning on having a demonstration of just different hardware parts over the time that are gone now, or, you know, maybe are just different in the 80s or 90s than they are now. If you can salvage the big drive, there is some interesting software on it that I would like. If not, go ahead and tear it apart. It should be an interesting exhibition piece. It was Seagate's most popular drive of the time, and apparently had a reputation for lasting several decades. That is cool. The bag with the cables also included a new old stock Debian case badge and various IBM keyboard badges. A long time ago, when I was still into keyboard collecting, these came new old stock from remaining genuine IBM parts that Unicomp had lying around after they took over the IBM production from Lexmark. Nowadays, the keyboards these belong to, Model M space-saving keyboard in industrial gray and some Japanese variant, hit thousands of dollars on eBay, so maybe at least the badge can be reused somewhere else. If only I had a keyboard that didn't have any badging I could put those on. There are probably more things in here that I forgot about, but they should hopefully be self-explanatory. Thank you for the note and all of the really cool stuff. Well, I do believe that is everything I was sent. I'm so incredibly thankful for everything everyone sends in. It's really awesome. You guys rock. Thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoyed this look at this video. Oh, yeah, one more thing, actually, before we wrap this up. So, I've been doing these videos as holding on to all the boxes and opening them all at once, and I'm thinking next time I do one of these mail videos, I'm going to open each box as I get it, and just stitch all the shots together afterwards in one not gigantic video, because this video took 3 months to come together, and that was kind of unfair to the people who sent me something early on, because they didn't know whether or not the thing they sent got damaged in the mail. So I think if I'm getting mail at this rate, I should probably open stuff and then stitch it all together rather than wait. It's not a big deal. It's just a slight production change. It's not going to be as fun, I think. I enjoy the videos like this. It's kind of, it is a little like Christmas to open everything up all at once. So, yeah, but it's going to be more reasonable to just do it all over a period of time. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you want to support the channel, I am on Patreon. But for now, that's it. I'll see you next time.